Have you ever wondered why the most intense, almost frantic pursuits in the realm of romance are often directed at the woman who seems to be standing perfectly still? It's a paradox that has fueled countless poems, tragedies, and private heartbreaks. A man might offer the world to the woman who gives nothing in return, while overlooking the one who offers him her heart on a silver platter. This isn't about playing games or mastering the art of being aloof. It is a profound psychological drama unfolding in the deepest theaters of the unconscious mind. To understand this dynamic is to understand a fundamental truth about human longing, projected fantasy, and the haunting search for wholeness. When a man falls into this pattern of obsessive pursuit, he is not truly seeing the woman before him. He is responding to an echo from within his own soul, a ghost of unfulfilled potential that he desperately hopes she can bring to life. She becomes, without her consent or even her knowledge, a screen for the most powerful projections of his inner world. He isn't chasing her. He is chasing a mirage of his own salvation, a phantom of the integrated self he has yet to become. This is the magnetic pull of the unlived life. The woman who doesn't chase, who is anchored in her own center of gravity, creates a kind of psychic vacuum. Her stillness and self-possession become a blank canvas upon which the masculine unconscious can paint its masterpiece of the ideal feminine, the anima in Jungian terms. This isn't just a simple idealization, it is a spiritual hunger made manifest. He projects onto her all the qualities he feels are missing within himself: grace, mystery, emotional completeness, and an untouchable serenity. The less she reveals, the more he can project. The more she is occupied with her own world, the more he believes her world must be an enchanted kingdom he is destined to enter. He might say things that sound like the highest form of praise: "I've never met anyone like you," or "You're not like other women." But what he is really saying is, "You are the perfect vessel for my fantasies." This is where the danger lies, both for him and for her. He is falling in love with the story he is writing in real time, and she is being cast in a role she never auditioned for. The intensity of his initial devotion is often directly proportional to the depth of his own inner void, a void carved out by past wounds, by childhood experiences of conditional love, and by the subtle, pervasive feeling of not being enough. His pursuit is less a romantic courtship and more a desperate, unconscious attempt to heal a fracture within his own psyche. The core of this dynamic is rooted in a fundamental misinterpretation of attraction. He mistakes the anxiety, the uncertainty, and the adrenaline of the chase for genuine connection. His nervous system is alight, not with love, but with the high-stakes gamble of seeking validation from an external source that seems to hold all the power. The woman who doesn't chase possesses a quiet power that is deeply unsettling to the man who has not yet made peace with himself. Her self-worth is not a question mark, it is a statement. She doesn't need his approval to feel complete, and this very completeness is what makes her seem like the ultimate prize. He believes that by winning her, he can absorb that quality of wholeness, that by possessing her, he can finally fill the emptiness that haunts his quietest moments. This is a tragic misunderstanding of how self-worth works. It cannot be transferred or conquered. It can only be built, stone by stone, from within. What he is really pursuing is not a woman, but a feeling. The feeling of being worthy. The feeling of being chosen by someone who doesn't seem to need anything. He is chasing the emotional high that comes from trying to capture the unattainable, because in that pursuit, he can momentarily forget the discomfort of his own inner landscape. It's a beautiful, intoxicating, and ultimately doomed quest, because no person can be the permanent cure for another's internal desolation. This intense pull toward the self-contained woman is also a powerful manifestation of shadow work done by proxy. In Jungian psychology, the shadow represents all the parts of ourselves that we have repressed, denied, or are ashamed of. Our insecurities, our fears, our perceived inadequacies. When a man feels a profound sense of unworthiness, he projects this shadow onto the world. The woman who doesn't need him becomes a living symbol of everything he fears he is not: confident, secure, and whole. His obsessive chase is, on an unconscious level, an attempt to confront his own shadow. He isn't just trying to win her affection, He is trying to defeat his own deepest insecurity. If he can conquer this unattainable woman, he believes he can prove to himself that his inner demons of inadequacy are wrong. He is essentially saying, if someone so complete can choose me, then I must not be as broken as I feel. It's a desperate battle waged on the field of romance, where the true enemy is the reflection he sees in the mirror. This is why the rejection, or even the indifference of such a woman can feel so devastatingly personal to him. It doesn't just feel like romantic rejection. It feels like a confirmation of his deepest, darkest fears about himself. His ego is not just bruised, it is shattered, because his entire sense of self-worth was precariously balanced on the outcome of this external pursuit. Now consider the woman at the center of this storm. What makes her so magnetic? Often, it is not a conscious strategy, but a state of being cultivated through her own inner work. She embodies a natural, almost accidental form of Stoic philosophy. She has built what the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius called an inner citadel, a fortress of the mind that is impervious to the chaos of the external world. Her happiness, her sense of purpose, and her value are not contingent on another person's attention or approval. She understands, on a deep cellular level, the fundamental Stoic principle of focusing only on what is within her control, her thoughts, her responses, her character. The affections of another person, being external, are ultimately outside of her control, and so she treats them with a sense of calm acceptance rather than desperate need. She may desire connection, but she does not need it to be whole. This state of being radiates a serene power that is profoundly attractive. It is the power of non-attachment. She isn't playing hard to get. She is a centered being whose life is already rich and meaningful. A man's attention is a potential addition to her life, not the validation of it. You see, when you build this inner citadel within yourself, your energy shifts completely. You are no longer broadcasting a frequency of neediness or seeking. You are broadcasting a frequency of contentment and self-possession. This is not about becoming cold or unfeeling. On the contrary, it is about becoming so full of your own self-generated love and validation that you can engage with others from a place of genuine curiosity and freedom, not from a place of hunger. A man who is not secure within himself feels this energy as a challenge, a mountain he must climb. But a man who is secure and whole in his own right recognizes this energy as a resonance. He sees a fellow sovereign of their own inner world. The attraction that forms between two such people is not the frantic, anxious energy of the chase, but the calm, powerful hum of mutual recognition. It is an attraction between two complete circles, not two half-circles, desperately trying to make a whole. Cultivating this inner state is the ultimate act of empowerment. It is the decision to become the source of your own light, so that you are no longer tempted to chase the fleeting sparks offered by others. It is the quiet revolution of valuing your own peace above all else. If these thoughts are stirring something deep within you, if you feel a sense of recognition in these words, then perhaps you've found a small corner of the internet that feels like home. This isn't just a channel. It's a space for the souls who are tired of the superficial and are ready to explore the depths. If you feel called to continue this journey with us, consider subscribing and becoming a part of this growing community. And I'm truly curious, what part of this resonated with you the most? Share that one thought, that one feeling, in the comments below. Your story matters here. So what happens when the chase finally ends? What happens when the man who has spent weeks, months, or even years in relentless pursuit finally wins the affection of the woman who seemed so distant? In most cases, the result is a disorienting and often tragic collapse of the entire dynamic. The very moment she turns to him with open arms, offering the connection he seemed to crave so desperately, the illusion shatters. The bright, shimmering projection he had cast upon her dissolves under the harsh light of reality. He is suddenly confronted not with a divine goddess or an ethereal mystery, but with a real, living, breathing human being. A woman with her own needs, her own flaws, her own expectations, and her own humanity. The blank canvas is suddenly full, and he discovers he is not in love with the painting. He was in love with the act of painting. The silence that he once filled with his fantasies is now filled with her real voice, and the dissonance can be overwhelming for him. His interest begins to wane, not because she has done anything wrong, but because she has done the one thing that destroys the game. She has become real. This is the projection meltdown. The man may experience a strange sense of disappointment or even repulsion. He may start to find fault with her, nitpicking at the very human qualities he was blind to during the chase. He might feel trapped or suffocated by the very intimacy he fought so hard to achieve. He pulls away, leaving the woman confused, hurt, and questioning her own worth. She is left wondering, what did I do wrong? When the truth is, she did nothing wrong. She simply ceased to be a symbol and became a person. The man was never truly in love with her. He was in love with the feeling of longing she inspired in him. He was addicted to the emotional roller coaster of the pursuit, the validation he hoped to gain, and the distraction it provided from his own inner emptiness. Once the pursuit is over, the emotional high is gone, and he is left once again with himself. And so often, he will move on, unconsciously seeking another blank canvas, another chase, another temporary fix for a permanent internal problem. This is the heartbreaking cycle of the projection-addicted psyche, leaving a trail of bewildered and wounded partners in its wake. This is not a uniquely male phenomenon. It is a deeply human one. As a woman, you must ask yourself with radical honesty, have you ever done the same? Have you ever projected your own inner masculine, your animus, onto a man? The animus represents the unintegrated, assertive, logical, and protective qualities within the female psyche. When a woman feels incomplete, she may unconsciously seek a man who embodies these traits. She might fall for the strong, silent type, or the charismatic leader, not because she connects with his true self, but because he becomes a screen for the strength and direction she has yet to cultivate within her own being. That overwhelming feeling of, he completes me, is often the biggest red flag of a powerful animus projection. You are not seeing a partner, you are seeing a missing part of yourself. You are outsourcing your own potential for strength, courage, and stability. And just like with the male projection of the anima, this dynamic is destined to fail. When he reveals his own vulnerability, his own doubts, and his own humanity, the projection will collapse. You will feel disappointed, let down, or betrayed, not because he has changed, but because you are finally seeing the real person instead of the archetype you needed him to be. The path out of this labyrinth for everyone, regardless of gender, is the sacred journey of individuation, the conscious and courageous process of withdrawing our projections and reclaiming those lost parts of ourselves. It is the work of becoming whole from within, so that we can finally meet another as a whole person. The journey of individuation is the ultimate alchemy of the soul. It is the process of turning the lead of our unconscious patterns into the gold of conscious awareness. It begins with the courageous act of turning inward and asking the difficult questions. When you feel that intense, overwhelming pull of attraction, you learn to pause. You ask yourself, what am I truly seeing here? Is it this person in all their complex reality? Or am I seeing a reflection of a need within myself? What part of me am I hoping they will complete? This practice of self-inquiry is the first step in withdrawing your projections. It is the act of taking back your own power, of refusing to make another person the keeper of your wholeness. It means taking responsibility for your own unintegrated parts, your strength, your vulnerability, your logic, your intuition, instead of seeking them in a partner. It is the slow, deliberate work of building your own inner citadel, not to keep others out, but to create a sacred space within you that is already whole and complete. When you operate from this place of inner fullness, the entire nature of attraction transforms. The frantic, needy energy of the chase dissolves. It is replaced by a calm, grounded, and powerful resonance. You are no longer drawn to a person because they represent a missing piece of your puzzle. You are drawn to them because their wholeness resonates with your wholeness. This is the difference between an attraction born of scarcity and an attraction born of abundance. It is what Jung called a conjunctio, a sacred union, not just between two people, but first and foremost, between the divided aspects of your own psyche. A relationship that begins from this foundation is not built on the shifting sands of fantasy and projection. It is built on the bedrock of reality, mutual respect, and genuine recognition. The intimacy is not a fleeting high. It is a deep, abiding presence. The love is not a desperate grasp for validation. It is a conscious choice, renewed each day as the Stoics would advocate. It is a commitment to love the real, imperfect human being next to you, not the idealized ghost you once needed them to be. This is the ultimate freedom that this knowledge offers. The real power is not in learning how to be chaste, but in cultivating a life so full and an inner world so complete that you have no interest in being chaste at all. Your energy becomes that of the sun, warm, life-giving, and self-sufficient, rather than that of a satellite, dependent on another body for its light and orbit. You begin to attract partners who are also walking the path of consciousness, individuals who are not looking for a savior or a project, but for a true companion, a fellow traveler on the journey of life. They are drawn to your peace because they have cultivated their own. They value your authenticity because they are committed to their own. This is the new paradigm of relating, a connection that does not seek to complete, but to celebrate. It is a partnership that deepens and grows richer with time, because it is nourished by the truth, not starved by the inevitable collapse of illusion. Your romantic destiny is not written in the stars. It is written in the level of consciousness you bring to your own inner world. The choice is to remain a participant in the painful, unconscious dance of projection and abandonment, or to become the choreographer of your own integrated, empowered, and truly loving life. The power has always been within you. This wisdom simply shows you where to look. We've journeyed through some deep waters together today, and if you're still here, I want to honor the courage and curiosity that brought you this far. This space is built on the belief that our stories can be medicine for one another. If you feel comfortable, I warmly invite you to share a piece of your own story in the comments. Perhaps there was a time you realized you were chasing a projection, or a moment you felt the power of your own inner citadel. Your experience could be the very thing someone else needs to read today to feel less alone. And if there are other topics, other deep questions you'd like us to explore together, please let us know. This is our space to co-create. Thank you for being here, for your presence, and for the brave work you are doing on yourself. Please subscribe if you haven't already, so we don't lose touch on this path.